Good afternoon, Ben Richards from XP Property for your weekly live Friday expose. And today I am on my Todd. Jack is currently in the airwaves. He is flying to the States and therefore can't be on today. But we've got a jam-packed agenda. I'm looking forward to sharing lots of stuff that has been happening this week, including the Muswell Hill completion. Did we complete? We've been talking about this for about 5 weeks. Unfortunately, we did not again complete, and I'm not gonna waste too much time on this one. We haven't completed. Funds are held to order with our solicitors, so Monday we should complete. And I said that last week, but actually funds are in. We just couldn't get all of the legal documents sort of in place for completion today. So that will happen on Monday, thankfully. We're going to be talking about £2 million worth of additional gross development value that we are hoping to gain in our biggest project to date in Thame. If you've not heard about that development, we did a deep dive recording back in episode 37, I think. So tune into that. We go deep. It's sort of 45 minutes of how we structured it, how we found it, how we funded it, what design and delivery we've got going on, and how we're going to sell and sort of de-risk the exit on that development. Going to be talking about creating 12-month strategic plans for your business in terms of business coaching and how to set that out. We're going to be looking at some of the new website redesigns that we've had done for XP Property. It's very much outdated, hasn't been changed for probably 4 or 5 years. So we want to refresh our website and give it a new lease of life. We're going to be looking at that. We're going to be talking about why 1 to 3 month team reviews are so important, i.e. having a 1 month, 2 month and 3 month review or catch up with new starters is incredibly important for your businesses. And going into a bit of detail around why that is so important and how we've been burnt and issues that we've had when we haven't done that in the past. 6, capital allowances. What are they and why you need them? We're going to be talking about some of the mentoring sessions that we've had and going to be giving you a sneak preview of the latest site tour, which is available on YouTube, which is one of Aura Architecture and Interiors latest videos that's been launched. And as usual, any questions that you've got along the way, do drop them in the comments below. Even if you are watching this after the fact and I'm not live, we will pick up the comments and we will talk about them next week. Before I get into it, we've had so many comments over the past couple of weeks about our podcast. If you're listening to this on the podcast, thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn, head over to your normal podcast platform. Like, comment, follow, share, do all that good stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Castbox, all of those ones. We're actually over 630 listens now, I think, across the board. We're releasing about 3 new episodes this week. It's the Property Experts podcast, and we're really getting some traction on that. Had some amazing feedback, including the likes of really valuable content guys. Love the detail you guys have gone into. You guys are amazing. Those videos are so educational. So if you are getting value out of these, please make sure to comment below, like, and if you can do us one favor out of every thing that I say tonight, is just to share the podcast or share this YouTube link with one person. Just one person, spread the word. We'd love to get the viewership up as much as we can and hopefully help as much of you business owners and property developers as much as we can to help grow your businesses and make you more money and stop you making some of the mistakes that we've made over the last 5 years. So Muswell Hill, like I mentioned, we haven't completed on this, but we should complete on Monday. For those that haven't seen this scheme, it's a big pair of semis in northwest London, about 5,000 square feet of space between the two properties, and we've got planning approval to convert into 9 flats. We'll be digging out half of the property at the front to create basement space, which contains 4 bedrooms and a number of bathrooms. So these ground floor units at the front are split level sort of masonettes, and nine units in total. What we did a couple of weeks ago or last week was do a little bit of a poll against our deep dive video that we did on our Thame project to ask you guys which project you want to see us deep dive into next. And Muswell Hill was definitely kind of the top choice on that one. So this will be the one that we do another deep dive on in a couple of months' time, probably in the new year. So if you haven't watched episode 37, go back and watch it. This is the scheme that we talk about and do a deep dive in. You can see from this photo, it's a 17,000 square feet office block, currently arranged into sort of 6 or 7 segments of serviced offices. Not serviced offices, they are just offices. Some of them are vacant, some of them are still tenanted, and we're looking to move some of the tenants around to the main roadside and convert the rest of the property into flats. Has planning approval for 12 flats, and we're hoping to go in for more through a further Class MA planning application, which is a permitted development right available to us to basically enhance the layouts from what has already been approved. The extra value that I'm talking about here in terms of the £2 million additional GDV that we hope to gain from the site is via this pre-planning application route, which we are drawing up for submission on Monday. In the podcast, you won't be able to see this, but on screen, we have got a very sort of crude snapshot of the type of thing that we're going in with the pre-app for. So we're looking at 2 sets of well, they are attached, but effectively 4 2/3 bedroom houses in the car park. Each one of those will be worth circa £500,000. So we're hoping that by getting positive pre-app response on this design, to add an extra £2 million worth of additional value to this project. Overall, coupling the existing offices which we're converting to flats plus this £2 million worth of additional value should take the total GDV on this site above the 8-figure mark. Should be £10 million plus, which is extremely exciting. So stay tuned and come back to see how that one pans out. The pre-app feedback should be back within a couple of months. So I do expect by the end of January to be having an update on whether or not our initial proposals are acceptable in terms of the principle of development, the massing and the size of the properties, getting feedback on that. Discussing things like parking, allowance, private amenity, bikes, bins, all of that stuff that the planning officers will feed back on. We can then feed that into a full planning application and hopefully get a successful approval for that. Number 3, so Wednesday this week, we had Brian from the Next Level Business Club. He's been my business coach for the last 3 or 4 years, and he's been working with XP Surveys for the last year to help kind of turn around that business, help us focus on the things that are really important. And this week was the 12-month reset. So we looked at how we performed in the previous year, talked through all of the 5 key areas of any business. That's marketing, sales, operations, finance, and talent. Talked about all the things that went well, the things that didn't go so well, and how we can then turn that around for the next 12 months and set our targets for 12 months' time. You've seen me talk about this before. This is what we call strategy on a page, where effectively we're looking at our 12-month goals and the key actions that are going to help us get there. We break that down into quarterly goals and key actions, and then actually look at what's next. What do we need to do in the next month to give us the best chance of hitting those big business goals and moving the business in the right direction? So looking at, for us, what revenue are we trying to achieve? How many surveys do we need to do to achieve that revenue? What's our conversion rate between our existing client base and our new clients that are inquiring? Looking at our rolling quarterly gross profit and net profit. And these are all the sorts of things that you will want to be looking at in your business. Now, every business will have slightly different KPIs depending on what you're trying to aim for and what your business is. But fundamentally, if you're not doing something like this in your business, I would implore you to do so. A business coach, the business coaches that we've had over the last 3 or 4 years have really helped us focus on what's important, give a helicopter view over the business so that you're working on the business, not in the business, and really help us to sort of push through to the next stages that we want to get to. Over the next year, we hope to hit the 600 grand revenue mark with a net profit margin of 15%. You guys can hold us to account on that. And hopefully this time next year, we'll be reporting that we have done so. We want 20 regular architect clients on our books because they are effectively our avatar client. if you are an architect watching this, or if you know an architect watching this, all of those people will need measured surveys, and we are trying to be, the fastest, the most responsive, the most reliable, with a quality output in the space. We've got an instant quoting tool on our website, which no other surveying practice has. All you need is your postcode and address. Tell us what you want in terms of floor plans, elevation, sections, and within 2 minutes you'll have an instant quote, and you could book a survey in via our online commerce platform online. So nobody else is doing that. Do head over if you need a measured survey for your property development, or you're an architect and need one for your clients. Okay, website redesign. So our website at the moment is very, very tired. If you've been on it, we haven't updated the projects on there for a long time, to be honest. If I look back at these projects, some of these are 4 years old. I mean, the St Helens Mill is actually probably our latest one. We completed Spencer's Wood 2 years ago in 2021. All of these are back in 2017, 2020. So it's not been updated for a long time. It looks very dated. It needs to be refreshed. And that's why we've got Oliver James of Property Branding to help us create a new sort of glossy website that attracts the type of investment that we want, attracts the right type of buyers that we want, and ultimately kind of shows us in our best light. We've done a lot of things in the last 5 years, as can be seen on the screen here. We won Property Deal of the Year in 2022, Small HMO of the Year in 2021. Central Suites have been runner-up at the HMO Awards, Aura have won various kind of best of house service, and various other awards through the time, and none of that is currently shown on our website. So, we just wanted to refresh things. Would love to know what you guys think. This is the start of it. This is sort of the first draft, where nothing's animated. It's purely kind of setting out the blocks and how we want it to appear. If you're looking to change your website, this is the type of thing that you'll sort of go through first. So our web developer, Ollie, kind of pulled together a wireframe. So this is what's called a wireframe. So you set out the basis of what you're hoping for. So, where the different segments and the strategy behind the website comes, how you're looking to kind of get that your best message across, what your value proposition is, and kind of all your featured properties, any other downloadables that you want, and just set out all of the different menus and what you want on each menu, so that before pulling it together into this type of format, you've got a real good sense of what the structure of your website is going to be. So you're not wasting their time, you're not wasting your time. You've thought about it at a higher level, and then you've broken that down into to the key elements of your webpage. So we've fed back comments, and this is actually a very useful process. So Adobe have this Adobe sort of website builder, and you can basically drop live pins into the sort of location of where you want to comment on. So if I wanted to comment on this work from us segment, I'd drop a pin, make a comment, and that gets sent over to Ollie to pick up in the next round of drafts. So yeah, looking forward to the new draft coming, and really happy with how it's starting to turn out. 1 to 3 month reviews. Now, Jack and I are stupidly busy. At the moment, we have about 25 staff team across the various businesses. That can get quite a lot. We've obviously got management levels in place, but actually I've made mistakes in the past where I haven't been close enough to the new starters and left things way too late, just expecting them to kind of find their feet and start to work at 100% capacity straight away. That's just not realistic. So what we've learned is that during the first 3 month probation period, having monthly check-ins is just so important for you as a business owner, but it's also important for them to kind of feedback to you in terms of how they're getting on, things they like, things they don't like. And it gives you a chance to nip things in the bud very, very quickly. So we now do this every month, first 3 months for every new team member. And I'm going to talk through some of the key things that you should be thinking about when you're going into these types of reviews. So the first thing, and if you want the template for this, by the way, let us know below. We have a review template which kind of has various checkboxes, various sort of a structure to it, which I'm going to talk through. And if you want to use that and swipe and deploy that into your business, then please do comment below. So first things first is looking at the input. So what are the activities and the tasks and their job role within the business, and how are they performing on that front? So, does it require improvement? Is it satisfactory? Is it good? Is it excellent? Basically kind of having a scale of bad to good against all of the inputs that they're expected to do. Then looking at the sort of output. So actually, what's the sort of volume and the speed of the work that they're producing? What's the quality of their work? And is it up to standards? Again, on a scale of needs improvement, satisfactory, good, excellent, whatever scale you want. Just to just to help them also understand what outputs you are expecting and the level at which you expect them to be at. Communication. So how well do they communicate with you as their manager, with their peers, with clients, with consultants? Again, on a scale of bad to good. What do they like and what do they dislike about the job? This is so important because if they're not happy about something, you need to know quickly. We've had it before where kind of people have stayed in the business, they're not happy, we're not really happy with their performance, but then it's not really talked about, so you can't do anything about it. It's not good for them, it's not good for you as a business. So understanding what their likes are, understanding what their dislikes are within the business is so important. Then we go into performance targets. So this is really critical. It's a measurement by which you can judge the performance of that team member, and setting very clear targets for them is it's I think when you first start a business, you can be very emotional, especially as a business owner and a sort of entrepreneur where you're trying to grow a team. It's not nice firing people. It's not nice kind of giving bad feedback and being kind of confrontational. But fundamentally, if you've got a bad egg in your business, it drags everything else down. I've seen this firsthand. It drags the whole business down, the whole kind of ethos and the team down. And you need to be able to put a system in place whereby you're no longer thinking emotionally, but you're thinking practically, and have a more, I don't want to say cutthroat, but sort of a more robust method of appraising people's performance, so that if performance is not good, you can say, well, we set you a target, you agreed this target was achievable, we're now 3 months on and you haven't done it. So it becomes very much more just matter of fact and less emotional, which I know when you first start a business, it can be a lot more difficult. But trust me, if you're not, you need to think about your business first. Fundamentally, if you've got a bad egg within the business that isn't performing, it will drag the whole thing down. And the superstars within your business, are kind of injustice to them, because you're sort of having another person drag that whole business down. You want to understand what training needs there are. So if they're not, if the team member isn't performing, can you give them some training to help improve their performance? That comes down to those individuals and the training they need individually. But the next point is about management needs. So what do they need from you as the manager, as the director, as the owner of the business, to help them perform to their best of their abilities, and how can you aid them in that? So it's not, these reviews aren't necessarily all about them. It's about as much as you reviewing them as them reviewing you and the business, to help them perform and do the best that they can do. So I'd love to understand or know if anyone's got anything different that they do at the start of onboarding people. We're not perfect. This isn't perfect. It's constantly evolving. But these are just some of the things that I've learned over the last 6 years being in the various businesses that I run. Next point is capital allowances. So if you're into property developments, if you're into commercial conversions, so turning office spaces into residential, for example, you probably would have heard of capital allowances. And if you haven't, you absolutely should get to the bottom of what capital allowances are. So just a very quick overview of my understanding of capital allowances. In a office building, in any building, any property, there will be fixtures and sort of fittings that are what's called a capital allowance. Now, these things are pipe work for your heating and cooling systems, wiring for your fire alarm systems, your electrical lighting and emergency lighting, your heating and cooling systems, some of the doorknobs on your doors. All of these things are a capital allowance. And what we have done with Thame, which is the project that you can see on the screen, is get a capital allowance specialist to walk around and survey the property inside and out. They draw up a list of all of the things that are claimable. So those things that I've just mentioned, the electrical wiring, the fire alarm systems, all that sort of stuff. And they will package all that up into a capital allowance claim that you can submit with your tax return, with your accountant, to effectively offset the profit that you make on any scheme. So to put this into perspective, we've bought Thame, we bought it for just shy of £2.5 million, and the capital allowance specialists have found £228,760,000 worth of claims within this building. So almost 10% of the purchase price is a capital allowance. Now, what happens with that is effectively that allowance gets offset against tax. So based on a 19% corporation tax rate, that's £44,000 of offset against our tax, our corporation tax. So for argument's sake, if our corporation tax bill for next year came to £50,000, £44,000 of that would actually get offset. So we would only pay £7,000 worth of tax when we should have paid £50,000 worth of tax. So this is insanely important for if you are doing any sort of commercial to residential conversion, certainly. And most commercial buildings will have a capital allowance of some kind. So check out RCK. So RCK are a partner of ours. They are the surveyors and the specialists that have done this capital allowance claim. If you want an introduction, please drop us an email or DM me, and we can send you their details and intro you. But effectively, they will charge circa 20% of the overall tax saving. So if we're saving £44,000 in tax, they'll take £8,000 or so as their fee. Different capital allowance specialists structure their fees in slightly different ways. This worked for us, and as you can see, that sort of saving is massive for any business. So this week, both Jack and I have onboarded a couple of new mentees. Jack has spoken to two, I think, new mentees, and I've had a second 1.5 hour call with the lovely Lynn, who is looking to jump out of her full-time job and start property flipping in South London. And we love it. Both Jack and I love kind of having an hour, 2 hours with new property developers, new business owners, sharing our insights, sharing our experience, sharing our knowledge, and hopefully kind of guiding those individuals to make more profit, set a strategy for going forward, tell them about all the mistakes that we've made over the last 5 years and say, don't do that. We tried that. It didn't work. Do this instead. Or we spent ages doing that. It cost us a fortune. Don't do it. Go and use these guys instead. They can tap into our network of consultants. There was a list of 2 or 3 people that came out of my call this morning with Lynn, where I know that the people that I'm going to introduce her to will help guide her very, very well, probably save her lots of money and stop her making some of the mistakes that we would have made. So if you're interested in sort of one-to-one consultancy, whether you're a business owner or a property developer, I actually really love getting stuck into service-based businesses. We've built Aura into pretty much £1 million revenue business over the last 5 years. XP Surveys is on its way to doing the same in the next few years. And service-based businesses like that are something I'm really passionate about, because I think more often than not, when you're in that space, it's often very difficult for you as the owner to step out from the business, take a sort of holistic view, and effectively get off the tools to a certain degree. There's a lot of architects that I know jump ship from big practices, set up their own architectural practice, and they're still on the drawing board. They're still getting stuck into the design. If you want to grow a business, you can't do that unless you build a team around you, you build systems, you build processes. And that's what I really like sort of showing people, getting people off of the tools to a certain degree, looking at business, understanding finance, understanding marketing, and getting into the crux of all those things, which are incredibly important to growing a business rather than giving yourself a profitable job. So if you're interested in one-to-one consultancy and business coaching, do get in touch. Point number 8. 2 days ago, I think, we launched this video down here, renovating and extending this London home, and a very, very pretty picture of a proposed CGI of the rear of the building. So top right is the existing rear elevation. This is the proposal. At the moment, we are 80% complete on this ground floor extension. Lovely zinc detailing, lovely brick soldier course detailing. We've got corner glazing, and Oriel windows off the kitchen, providing that extra kind of sense of light and space. If you've not seen the video yet, it's 3.5 minutes. It's hopefully there to give a bit of inspiration for those of you that are looking to extend your home and renovate, give you some insight into the process, and yeah, a bit of house porn, I guess, is the best way of describing it. We've got almost 1,000 views on one of our most recent video tours from 3 months ago. This is a property in Camberwell, and yeah, there's a full sort of cost breakdown on that video as well. So if you're interested in seeing how much these types of things cost, that is also something that we mention on the video tours. Most of all, we are here to answer questions for you guys. I'd love to know what you're struggling with the most in your business. Both Jack and I have built 7-figure businesses. We've got businesses that do 500 grand revenue, 1 million pound revenue. We've got property developments, which are multi-million pound developments, and we've also built social housing portfolios worth in excess of 20 million pounds. We've got a good variety of experience through that process, and would love to help you with whatever issues you're having within your business. So do drop any comments down below, and we can touch on them in a more deep dive process next week. That's really it from me. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you have, let me know down below, because otherwise there's no point in doing this. And see you next Friday.